What technology used in modern construction has the darkest origin? I'm so glad you asked. It's this guy right here. Nail guns? Nah. Hammers? Saws? Please, take a seat in the presence of the goat. Let's get right into it. So one day in the middle of the most deadly and catastrophic wars in human history, a British soldier notices a bunch of strange discarded masks on the battlefield and thinks to look inside one of them. Inside it, he finds a small pleated piece of paper and he thinks bit weird in it. He decides to pass the mask and paper along to British intelligence. So British intelligence gets to studying the mask and paper. Now, the paper, they decide that by itself really isn't anything remarkable. However, on it, they discover a very fine coating of asbestos. Now, asbestos fibers are extremely thin, like about 20,000 times smaller in diameter than human hair. Because these fibers were so small, it basically created this very tiny labyrinth that air molecules would have to navigate in order to pass through it. And while natural air molecules such as oxygen, carbon dioxide, and nitrogen could pass through this labyrinth pretty easily, larger molecules such as those in chemical smokes, like chemical weapons, could not. In response, they commissioned the production not only of their own gas masks, but also a larger version of the small filter inside them, a filter large enough that it could actually filter all of the air for officers' headquarters. These absolute air filters, as they were called, were the first environmental air filters ever created. Now, the Germans never actually engaged in chemical warfare on the battlefield in World War II because a certain German Charlie Chaplin lookalike had been exposed to mustard gas in World War I, decided that, genocidal maniac that we may be, he would not stoop so low as to engage in chemical warfare against other soldiers. Weird guy. Just as the British were starting to wonder if they'd gone through the trouble of developing absolute air filters for nothing, suddenly the Americans came to them with a request. They said they were working on a top-secret project in New Mexico that was creating a lot of particulate in the air that they needed to control. They wondered if the British happened to have anything that could help them filter it. The British basically said, funny story, we actually just created something that would do almost exactly that. What kind of particulate do you need to control for? And the Americans said, oh, well, it's all this uranium that we're processing right now. And the British were like, oh, well, we're not actually sure if what we have would filter for something as small as that, but what are you doing with a bunch of uranium in New Mexico? And the Americans were just like, don't worry about it. So yeah, air filters are the scariest material used in construction today, and it's not even close. So, don't forget to change them. Because it's allergy season.